Today in Algebra 1B we're going to worry about the discriminant. The discriminant is one piece of the quadratic formula. Remember, the quadratic formula is something that looks like this. And when we talk about the discriminant, we're going to be focused on just this part of it. And really, in a lot of ways, that part of it can make or break you when you're trying to solve this. We all know that the focus of a square root is to have some kind of an answer we can use. But if it's negative underneath here, we won't be able to get a solution. So let's take a look at possibilities here. First of all, the nice thing about today is we are only going to use this part to calculate. So if I went to put in my numbers for A, B, and C and solve this, there's really three possibilities that can happen. One thing is that if I solve it and the answer is positive, then it's going to be some kind of a graph that probably either opens up like this and hits in these two pieces, or it could be one that opens down. Either way is okay. But the idea is it's going to hit the x-axis twice, which means on something like this, that this is going to be one that gives us two solutions. Now, if I go to solve this and equal 0, that's one of those that either opens up like this, but of course it's the x-axis once, or it could be one that opens down. Either way you look at it is okay. It hits the x-axis once, so it has one solution. Now if I go to solve this and it's negative, that means my graph is either going to be up here or it's going to be down here. But it's never going to hit the x-axis, which means that in this one it's going to have no solution. So our job is to really figure out which category these belong in, and that's where we're going to spend the majority of our time today. So let's look at a couple examples. Okay, first of all, on all of these, in order for us to be able to do these, you still have to have 0 by itself, on one side. So this one doesn't have a 0, so I'm going to subtract 1. Once I get it here, I can identify A, B, and C. So A is 3, B is -5, and C would be -1. Now remember, I only have to worry about this part. So -5 squared minus 4 AC. So if I were to put this in my calculator and calculate it out, I'd end up with 37, which is positive. So that means that there will be two solutions for this problem. Now, I could keep going and use the quadratic formula to find that, but it's nice to know ahead of time how many solutions I'm looking for. Now, in this one, I want to get 0 to happen. So I'm going to subtract 1x squared from both sides, because I just want to get 0. Again, making sure when I put it together that it's in standard form. But A is -1, B is 2, and C is -3. So now I'm going to go into this and start plugging in my values. So 2 squared minus 4 AC. So if I were to put this in my calculator, I'd end up with -8. And remember, if it's negative, that means that there's no solutions that will work for this. Okay, one more. And this one happens to have a 0 already there. Remember, we assume the 1. So A is 1, B is 2, and C is 1. And then I'm going to plug it into my formula. So B squared minus 4AC. Which means that in this problem, if I were to put this in my calculator, I get 0, which means there's going to be one solution. And that's really the focus of today's stuff.